The circus returns to Baton Rouge, and no, I'm not talking about the legislative session. We'll talk about a business event taking place for young people, and speaking of business, the Business Reports Symposium is next week. Julio will tell you all about it. And a sheriff is perp walking kids? Roll it, Kirk. Well, it sounds as crazy as an outhouse rat, but yes, there is a law enforcement agency that is perp walking kids. Attorney Ryan Beaulieu is here with me to talk about that. You and I were talking yesterday about this, and in Volusia County, the school system there has had some threats from kids, and the leadership there and the law enforcement there think one of the things that they can do to maybe get these kids to stop doing this is to perp walk them and shame them. As an attorney, your initial thoughts, sir?
So when I first seen the story, watch how this works, Clay. When I was coming up, well, first, I totally believe in these kids being held accountable.
Oh, sure.
I truly do.
Sure.
I really do. But when I first saw this, I thought to myself, when I was in school, what was cool was like sagging your pants, right? Like that was the thing that was cool.
Yep.
Maybe a little talk back, but it was sagging your pants. Nowadays, with social media being glorified the way it is, kids these days, they glorify crime.
Yeah, they do.
And and they're glorifying getting in trouble. So while on one hand, I can kind of see what he was trying to do, like maybe if I do this as a deter other kids and maybe scare them.
Yeah.
On the other hand, some of these kids are using it as a walk of fame. There's a red carpet walk of fame, and we have to be careful with that, right? Like I said, I definitely believe in holding these kids accountable, but I think there's a fine line we need to walk in a precious balance that we need to strike in order to be able to hold them accountable, but also not ostracize the kid and or make them famous.
Well, I was asking you about this before we started. I was trying to figure out how they got around the youth shield laws, where you couldn't really, you don't identify juveniles who commit crimes, and then you told me after doing some research they can because...
Yeah, so after doing some little research, I read on it that, and I believe in Florida, is Florida correct?
Yes.
They have a law where if a juvenile is charged with a felony, which a threat on a school such as any sort of mass shooting is a felony, it now becomes public record. So then they are able to post the kids online, they're able to, I guess, perp walk these kids, and I think I even seen him say he's going to post the kids' parents.
That's exactly right. Posting the videos about it. So look, you've been in court with people, and obviously you've defended people. You've done this work a little while. Using this as a tool to shame kids or get them to do something different, I don't know, man, that I agree with that. I don't think the legal system or the law enforcement system should be used for that.
I'm going to tell you, it's going to be interesting to see how this thing rolls out. It's really going to be interesting. I've seen some backlash on it already, and I think he may need to rethink, you know, how he's doing it. I think his heart is in the right place and that he wanted to curb these things, but I do think that he may need to reevaluate a little bit on how he approached these things.
Well, look, we've had issues here with kids. We've had issues here with kids fighting in schools. We've had issues here with kids bringing guns to school. So to your earlier point, look, accountability is necessary. We want to be able to hold these kids accountable for these actions and even deter some of what we see happening on the streets of our community. Let me ask you, man, your time in law, you're watching these crimes be committed by kids who are younger and younger. Any thoughts on that?
I think, again, I think it's this glorification of social media. When I was, like I said, when I was coming up, social media wasn't as widespread. It wasn't as prevalent as it is today, right? Kids can pick up a phone, hit a link, go to a video, and immediately want to emulate what they're seeing. And I think that's what's going on. These kids are wanting to emulate what they're seeing, and they're being cheered on by some of their peers. So I think that's what's really going on today. So I think we, as parents, I'm not a parent just yet, but as a future parent, need to monitor what we're allowing our kids to do.
You know, there are all these videos that are on social media with kids fighting. I mean, we've had some from here with things that have happened here with people in the streets, and you see some of these outlets are trying to put these parameters on to keep kids from having access to certain levels of social media. I don't know how you stop it. I don't know how you authenticate that the person who is signing up for a TikTok account, for instance, isn't 12, right? And it just from a legal standpoint, do you see backlash eventually on some of these outlets like Meta, if with the glorification of some of what we see?
You know, a lot of these platforms are protected by the First, right, by the First Amendment, and so I do see them reaching a lot of backlash. I think there are some different lawsuits that may be out there on some of these different companies, but you know, hey, you know, they created a product, and the product has now morphed into something else. I think they do need to go back to the drawing board and figure out how can they stop being a contributory factor to what some of these kids are going through.
If you got a phone call from someone in Florida wondering about, hey, we want you to defend us against the violation of our kids' rights, would that be any kind of case that you would consider?
I definitely would consider it. You know, I'm licensed to practice here in Louisiana.
No, I'm just saying if you were in Florida, just like,
yeah, if I was in Florida, I would definitely consider it. And I think the bigger thing is I would go have a bigger picture conversation with the sheriff. Like, look, let's sit down, let's look at this thing, and let me give it to you from these different angles.
Right.
And maybe we can come up with something together that's also effective, but also not putting these kids in a like I said, on a red carpet.
No, it's like you give them street cred doing some stuff like this.
Exactly,
I don't get it.
Exactly.
Appreciate you, brother.
As always.
Julio Malera is here next to talk about the Business Symposium and the top 100 places in Baton Rouge to work. We'll do that next. It is one of the biggest business events every year, the Business Symposium held by the Baton Rouge Business Report. It takes place next Tuesday at the Crown Plaza, and there are no tickets available. It's sold out. The highlight really is focusing on the top places to work in Baton Rouge. And then Dr. Lawrence Scott also gives his economic forecast, which is always phenomenal. Julio Malera, the owner of Malera Enterprises, and the Baton Rouge Business Report is here with us. Man, by the way, before we talk about this, you killed it on the C-suite, brother.
Oh, man, thank you.
I'm still hearing from people about that interview. If you have not seen or heard the interview, go into WAFB.com, click on the podcast section, and listen to my conversation with Julio. It was great. All right. Let's talk about next week, the Business Symposium. What can we expect?
Well, you know, it's 2 events in one day.
That's right.
Right? So we kick off with the Best Places to Work breakfast. We're going to be celebrating the 75 top places to work in the capital region. We had this is our 11th year. We had 11th year in a row where we have so many more nominations and applications for that particular award. And what we do is we have 3 categories, right? Small business, which is 15 employees or less. Then we got medium-sized business, which is less than 100. And then 100 plus. So we have 3 categories. And actually at the event, as you know, in today's world, the war is for talent.
Yes.
Right? And so most people want to work at the best places, right? And so it's going to be real cool because we're going to recognize the #1 place to work in each category, large company, medium, and then we're going to have a panel discussion to figure out things that they do in their culture.
Awesome.
There's some real cool things that people are doing besides flex hours and besides remote work and all that sort of stuff. Real innovating things that people are doing as far as compensation, bonuses, interacting, bringing in their pets to work, all sorts of real cool, unique things. So that's going to happen in the morning. And then, of course, at lunchtime, we honor the top 100 privately held companies in Baton Rouge. I mean, they're contributing over $30 billion to the local economy because of the jobs and the taxes and their economic impact here in the state. And then we roll, after we acknowledge them, we roll into Dr. Lawrence Scott's economic forecast. And I got to tell you, things are looking bright for our local economy.
Man, every year he gets really granular about what is working and what's not working. He talks about the state. He also talks about the capital region and what's happening here. And to your point, we are really moving in a good direction, man. And the COVID lag or whatever there was, it seems like we're kind of getting out of it, huh?
Well, for sure. That is for sure. As a matter of fact, we produce an executive summary for all of the business leaders that show up to the actual luncheon. By the way, we still have a couple of general admission tickets.
Okay.
Completely sold out for the breakfast. Just a couple. But the reason I share that with you is because I don't think jobs, after this report comes out next week, jobs is going to be the issue. Our issue here in the capital region is quality of life, because we've got to get the young people to stay here, have things to do, places to go, places to eat, entertainment. But a lot of cities struggle with jobs. We don't have that issue, man.
Right. You know, you did I think it's maybe 3 editions ago, You did a story on boomerangers.
Yes.
The kids who leave and then come back. I really encourage you to go read that because you profile people who left and came back. And my oldest is a boomeranger. She came back to Louisiana after being in D.C. and in New York. What are we doing now to get kids to consider coming back?
Well, I think we have a lot of work to do, by the way. The data's out. A lot of our #1 export right now is not chemicals or agricultural items. It's our young people. It's our talent, right? And so in order to keep them here, we need to continue
there it is.
Oh, yeah, there it is. That's right. There's the issue. Man,
on it,
she's on her game. But look, all of these young people left and came back, and here's what they find out. The grass is not green on the other side.
Yeah.
And hey, good experience, but the cost of living, you cannot beat the cost of living compared to Dallas, Atlanta, LA, New York, right? You know, you live for these. And two, the importance of culture. Nobody has the culture that we have tied in with family, right? And so, again, we as locals get stuck on the negative, but there's so many positive things going on. But if we're going to perpetuate keeping our young people here, we have to come up with more entertainment venues. I think we got to develop the downtown riverfront. You know, they're talking about the new arena to bring in high-level quality concerts. They're talking redevelopment of the River Center, so we can bring more higher-tier conventions and conferences here. So, again, I think we're at a real pivotal point in our community. We just need the leadership and more people to get engaged and involved.
You, like me, have traveled around this country, and when you listen to people elsewhere talk about Baton Rouge and Louisiana, they speak in glowing terms. The food, the culture, the friendliness of the people. We got to quit being so down on ourselves here, man.
To me, that is probably one of the biggest issues that we have, because most people that come here, exactly to your point, we just hosted a national conference, people from Boston, people from California.
The thing that was downtown.
It was downtown, exactly.
I was there. I was on a panel with somebody.
Yes, and most of the conferences, by the way, they had been in Chicago and Detroit. So when the board voted to have it down in Baton Rouge, I was excited until I got on the plane. I go, oh my God, they're used to being in big cities doing big things. Well, I called Visit Baton Rouge. I called.
Shout out to Jill
Let me tell you, amazing. You know the comments I got back? They were blown away. One comment, the guy from Boston said, I've never been to a town that's friendlier with the best food and is so charming. A guy from Ohio sent me a note, and I kept it. He said, Baton Rouge is a special city. I mean, so it's just amazing. You know, kind of, it hits the point. I mean, people see our potential, but because we're in the picture, we can't really see the picture. We just focus on traffic. We focus on crime. Things that are a lot of cities struggle with. And I'm not saying that's not an issue. That is an issue, but we're addressing it.
We're doing the best. Julio Malera, owner of Malera Enterprises, Everything Business, next week. Keep your head up, Baton Rouge. We are moving in the right direction. And here is where you can catch the show. It streams on Friday on television, Friday night, replays on Saturday. Back in just a moment. Oh, man. You know, I know Melissa and Courtney and Kirk will want to kill me for bringing this up, but during commercial break, I had to listen to Councilwoman Shauna Banks tell us how these chairs aren't meant for butts, and then just the whole speech about it, and I don't even know how to recover from that, but I'm going to try. So the circus is coming back to Baton Rouge. So let's talk about this. And this is interesting. When you sent this to me, it's been years since I've been to a circus here in Baton Rouge. It's going to be at the Jewel Newman Center. Actually, this weekend, the 28th and the 29th. Dusty's All-Star Circus. Did you put this together to make this happen here?
No, actually, last year, this is the second year.
Okay.
So last year, Dusty's reached out to me and they were like, you know, what we do is we like small venues. We like to come and see your community center to see if we can have and set up our circus. And of course, I'm like, yes, you know. So they came, and we had so many kids that have never attended a circus. You know, and so that's what makes it special. It's right in our backyard.
You do so much for that part of this city, and specific to the circus, it's nothing like being at an event listening to a bunch of children laugh.
That's it.
So what can we expect there? I know they got the clowns. I think Johnny's working part-time over there doing something. But what else can we expect from people who are attending?
It's a real circus with acrobatics, you know, the ringmaster, clowns, games, balloons, even cotton candy and popcorn and drinks. So the whole atmosphere, they literally transform our gymnasium into a circus.
Yeah.
And they interact with the community. We are so happy. We sent out 100 tickets to all of the elementary schools in District 2 in both Scotlandville and Baker. So they're buy one adult, get the kid free, and I just can't wait.
So listen, and there's still seats available. It's this weekend. There's the website right there, and you can see the show times. Yes. You could log on, buy tickets. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. A great thing to do is take the kiddos over to let them see the circus. That's good family fun.
So it's 5 shows. On Saturday, 2 p.m., 4 p.m., and 7:30. And then Sunday after church, 2 p.m. and 4:30. Yeah. And if they call the Jewel J. Newman Community Center, they may get free tickets.
That's fantastic.
775-3935.
So, you know, your time with this council, all this stuff is winding up. And I got to ask you before we get out of here, when you look back at your time on the council, what are you most proud of?
I think what I'm most proud of is restoring confidence in the ability to make change in your community. Being able to stand in diversity and in diverse measures, and also in difficult times just to do what's right.
You know, it's refreshing that there are more conversations about North Baton Rouge going on right now.
That's it.
And if East Baton Rouge Parish wants to thrive and prosper, you got to focus on that part of the parish too. And it's happening right now, and you've been at the forefront. You don't mess around about North Baton Rouge, I know. So it's good. So again, the circus is this weekend. You said 4 shows on Saturday.
3 shows on Saturday, 2 p.m., 4 p.m., and 7.
And then on Sunday?
On Sunday, 2 p.m. and 4 p.m.
Councilwoman Shauna Banks, who just ripped through my stools and everything, is saying they're not
made for us.
I don't even know what to say with that. All right, up next, we'll talk about a business event that's taking place for young people at the Goodwood Library this weekend. We will do that next.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, by the way, check out the C-Suite next week. The current edition of the show features a conversation with Bishop Charles Wallace with the Oasis Christian Church. Next week, George Bell with United Way will be our guest. Dropping every Monday. Get that WAFB app so you can be in the loop. Back in just a moment. There is a business event happening this weekend. Brittany's messy, by the way, making all these Forrest Gump references before we start. But I love the concept of this. Camry, Brittany, and Jenny.
Yes.
She tried to get me to mess that up, but we're not doing it. Let's talk about the Business Bazaar taking place at the Goodwood Library this Saturday. And it's a thing for young people. It starts at 11 a.m.
Correct.
And it goes till what time, Cam?
4 p.m.
Tell me what's happening out there.
So we have a few different things happening out there. We have an outdoor marketplace that is celebrating young entrepreneurs. We have about 20 vendors, anywhere from age 6 to 17, coming out to sell things that they've created or they've curated. And we also have a financial literacy workshop happening starting at 2 o'clock inside.
Is this the first time y'all have done something like this?
Something like this on this scale as far as the entrepreneur for kids, yes.
Yeah.
But we try our best to make sure that we constantly give things within the community when we can, so that we can all come together, collectively share, support one another, and learn from one another.
I love the idea of getting kids to focus on being an entrepreneur, ownership, all of the things that go along with it. So what's your goal for this weekend?
To get as many people out to come and see these kids sell. They have to make their own products and just let them be leaders.
Yeah. Do you know some of what they're going to be bringing out there this weekend, Cam?
Ooh, we have a few different options. We have some artists with some sculptures. We have some gourmet lemonade coming out.
We have we have one of our, I think it's Color Me Silly. They do the different crayons, but in different shapes. So as opposed to just a regular crayon shape, they're in different fun shapes for kids. We have people that are doing crochet bags, crochet items. We have a few, like it's an assortment of things. So, but we just are asking for everyone to come out, support, give these children the encouragement that they need so that they can come and, you know.
What's the age range?
6 to 17.
6 to 17.
Yeah.
6-year-olds.
6-year-olds.
So now, is this a part of a local initiative? Is this a part of a state initiative? Where'd this concept come from?
The concept comes from our organization, which is Old South Baton Rouge Economic Redevelopment Group. And we just want to make sure that people are able to, well, children and community members are able to explore any talents that they have, because sometimes you don't know that you're good at something until you at least try.
So if they miss this weekend, is there anything else happening that kids should be involved with?
Not specifically with children entrepreneurs at this moment, but we will be having another children's business bazaar in the spring, and we are hoping to make it a recurring event, a fall and spring event.
See, I think it's financial literacy, a consciousness about business. Those are all things we should point kids towards, especially kids in disinvested communities, to give them an opportunity. I mean, you can, at 6, 7 years old, when you're doing business, that may point you in a direction in terms of what you want to go to school for, right?
Huge.
Yeah. So great work putting this together. Now, again, tell people how to find you guys if they want to be a part of this or something in the future.
So we have a website. Old South, osbrerg.org. You can also find us on Instagram at old_south_brerg. That is a great way to get in touch with us. Of course, we have email and everything, but if you go to the Instagram or the website, you can find that. And also our flyers for this event, the library has been pushing them, and we have our vendors are also pushing them. So when I mention it, especially as we've gotten closer to the event, I have gotten feedback that says, oh, I saw that, or I saw that somewhere, or something like that. So it's pretty easy to locate as far as getting in touch about this event, and we're very easy to get in touch with, for sure.
Look, you guys got to bring some of the kids by at some point in the next few weeks. Get them to bring some of what they create. We'll show it off here on the TV show, and give them some love. We got to do that. I'm actually coming out there Saturday.
Good. We're looking forward to seeing you.
So you're not going to be as messy when I see you Saturday, right?
No promises.
No promise. Can't promise anything. I am my authentic self.
She was dropping. Oh my goodness! See, there you go. Next week we're talking politics, and don't forget to catch the C-Suite next week. Monday, George Bell is our guest. Appreciate the work y'all are doing. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy that weather. See you next week on the Clay Young Show. That's where you can catch me on the socials right there. Y'all have a good one.